Honorable State Minister of Innovation and Technology, Ethiopia, my sister from Google. Anybody who doesn't know Google, should have, you can Google it and then see what that means. She's the head of the Pan-African Institutions, Government Affairs and Public Policy. And of course, when you have a president here, they are not merely presidents. He's president of the university, but also I am told member of parliament. Thank you very much, colleagues from the UN family, ITU and others. Thank you very much for being here. But I think the most important people here are these young people. Actually, should be seated also among in the front, because you are very, very important for us. We are only depending on you for us to be able to move forward. We just had a summit, which they called a Summit of the Future. And that Summit of the Future comes from a lot of thinking by the United Nations members. It's from our common agenda. And in that Summit of the Future, one of the things is now to realize that the future is actually technology. And without technology, you cannot move far. And the technology is applied in everything. It's applied in agriculture, it's applied in industries, it's applied almost in any sector, but also on the social side, you can't do without technology. I'm sure that the young people who are here are the people who cannot do without a phone, who cannot do without a computer. I'm sure if you're ordering food, there's no way you can do it without a phone if you don't have it. And now it has become part and parcel of our life in anything. When you go home and you adjust your TV, and in most cases, for people who are as old as I am, we rely on our kids to make sure that they can get our TVs right, and they can manipulate as much as they want. They can search anything, but then we need to make sure that this technology will help us. We had identified 2.6 billion people globally who are not connected. I know that you are not one of them, but there are 2.6 billion people. And most of them come from African countries. And we are saying we need to scale up. We need Africa to become one of the lead. Because by 2050, according to some of the statistics that we have, is that almost more than 1 in 4 young people will be an African. Now, if 1 in 4 is going to become an African, it means you are beyond Africa. And that's why your plan as young people, your mind should actually go beyond Africa. You have to think globally, because anything that you do will have an impact beyond the African continent. Beyond your country, and also beyond Africa, it has to be global in nature. That's why your thinking is going to become different. The world is going to change. You can imagine how it is now. You can imagine how education system will look like in the next 20 years. It will be totally different. I don't know if you can imagine the time when we used to be there without phones, how we used to work. Go abroad for a mission, you cannot communicate with anyone. They will just see you going, they will see you coming back. But now you can't even imagine, even working here, how you can work without calling your colleagues on the work that you're working together. If you cannot communicate using a computer and then be able to share the information with your colleagues, now you cannot imagine, and this is recent. For us, when we started a long time ago, we had no computer. We had nothing. That's why we used to memorize things in our head, and then everything you want to do, you know, once you have a fax, that was a big thing. But now even you share information. It doesn't matter where you are. You can work from home, you can work from anywhere. Things have changed. So imagine 20 years, imagine 50 years from now. Things will have changed completely. And that's why when we came up with the Global Digital Compact, we are saying technology is going to be the driver of growth, of development, of social life, improvement, of everything. That's why some of you are picking your phones from your pockets always to check what's new. Nothing escapes you. And this becomes very, very important. And now when you have these young people that are coming here, for the Ethiopia National Robotics Competition, which forms a crucial part of the global initiative. Of course, the World Robot Olympiad. This is one of the critical things that we need to really take extremely seriously, and especially when young people are involved. I really wish to commend all the stakeholders from the government of Ethiopia and the various participating governments to our esteemed, of course, partners like Google and Camden Education Trust for their commitment to advancing digital skills, innovation, and problem solving across the continent of Africa. This is not, we are not merely hosting a competition today. We are also here to celebrate the boundless creativity, the ingenuity, and potential that is alive in this room as you see these young people. Excellencies, Africa's digital economy presents immense financing opportunities and is predicted to reach $712 billion by the year 2050, signifying the premise the digital revolution holds for economic and social transformation. However, we will only be able to seize these opportunities if we can overcome the digital divide that currently limits the capacity of our young people to lead the future. Inadequate digital infrastructure, limited digital skills, and the persistent gender gap are among the critical barriers that must be overcome. And to overcome it, we have to work together. Excellencies, the statistics speak to the gravity of the challenge that we have before us. Africa's digital skills gap index remains well below the global average, with many countries scoring between 1.8 and 5 compared to the global benchmark of 6. In 2022, only 11% of Africa's tertiary graduates received formal digital training, and the gender digital divide stands at 43%, costing our continent more than $1 trillion in lost potential, $1 trillion US. This has implications for the future, as it is projected that by 2030, 625 million Africans will need digital skills. That shows the challenge of the work that we have ahead. Yet, while these figures underscore the magnitude of the task, they also signal an opportunity for bold strategic investment in the future. At the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, we are committed to actually closing this divide. Through initiatives like the Connected Africa Girls Coding Camp and the Tech Africa Women Program, we have reached more than 40,000 young women across 8 countries, equipping them with critical skills in digital literacy, coding, and entrepreneurship. Additionally, the establishment of the centers of excellence across the continent, such as the Rwanda STEAM Center, continues to drive STEAM education and empower learners with the tools and skills needed for a digital future. These initiatives are not just about imparting skills. They are about engendering confidence, cultivating leadership, and inspiring the next generation of African innovators to lead our continent into the digital era. The World Robot Olympiad is an embodiment of this mission. It is more than an education exercise in robotics. It is a platform to develop real-world solutions for the most pressing challenges of our time. Through coding and innovation, you, of course, our young people, are not only creating robots, you are building the future one step at a time. And it is you, our young youth, who stand in the very heart of this transformation. In this room, I see the future creators, problem solvers, and leaders who will confront and tackle the most pressing challenges facing our continent, from climate change to economic inequality, and from water access to healthcare systems. The solutions you design today are not simply for this competition. They are the foundations of the Africa we aspire to build, aligned with the Agenda 2063 of the African Union. I therefore congratulate you really for the work done so far. When you code, when you build, when you innovate, you are laying the groundwork for the prosperous, sustainable Africa. I'm confident that as ambassadors of Africa's future, and young leaders, you'll go on to inspire the rest of the world. Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, our mission remains to work together to craft a future where our continent's young people lead the way, where technology empowers, transforms, and uplifts. Today is the first step on that path, and I encourage all of us, to continue pushing the boundaries of what is possible in our pursuit for a brighter, more inclusive digital future for all. I thank you very much for your kind attention.